All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going over a Bootstrap website as part of the Rankin Technical College Summer Academic Academy website or design, and we're up to step 5 or part 5 of 13 that we're going to be going over. And what I'm going to do in here right now is, you already saw this, but if we were to run this right now, and we can, but there it is, part 5, there's nothing in here in our content area. It's totally empty. I think it's time we change that. So that's what we're going to do. So in between where we have our header stuff, which is right here, let's put a comment in here, and that'll say header area. And then we're going to put in another comment. I'm not even going to say an end header area. But down here, we're going to put in another comment, and this is going to say footer area. All right. So in between, in fact, let's do that. So that'll end the header area. And then down here, that will end footer area. All right. Okay. So there's my header, there's my footer, nothing up my sleeve, but in between my header and footer area, this will be, we'll call it, for lack of better words, our content area. All right. And here will be the end of our content area. All right, so in our content area, we're going to come in and we're going to add right now what is typically referred to as a jumbotron. And that's just going to be a big area that's going to be at the top of our page. And if that confuses you, just bear with me for a couple minutes. There's not really a lot of code that we're going to put in. All right. Div, class, equal, container. So kind of a running theme here that I think you've seen. Oops. Okay, let's try that again. Right. And in this container class, we're going to have another class, or another div, class equal jumbotron text center. What did that just do? Believe me, we're not finished, not by a long shot here. All right, but we just put in a class of jumbotron, and what did that do? There's our jumbotron, and it might not look very jumbo right now. We're going to have to actually put some CSS in there in just a minute. In fact, let's put in that CSS right now. So let me come in. And let's bring up our style sheet. This is our style sheet. All right. So the nav bar, but what comes before the nav bar? Our body stuff. So we're going to add some padding here. And that's about 70 pixels of padding. Okay. See what we just did? There's our nav bar. Now we've got a little bit of area between our nav bar and our jumbotron. There's our jumbotron right there. Now it doesn't look like much because we haven't put anything into it yet. we will be filling it up, and that'll make up the rest of this presentation right here. Whoops. Okay. That happens occasionally when I'm producing these. So let's come in here and let's start putting in the stuff into our Jumbotron. Because right now it's an empty Jumbotron. Okay. Well, we'll put an H1 tag in there. This will say running bootstrap example. Now, what's the difference? Well, now at least there's something in our Jumbotron. Okay? Got a little bit bigger based on the fact that there's content in it now. And after that, we'll put in a paragraph. And that paragraph will simply say, this is a running bootstrap example. More to come. How's that? Just simple. So again, we come back to our Jumbotron, okay? And I think we set this up so that it was automatically centered. Okay, we'll look at that in just a bit. All right. Not a whole heck of a lot in there. But let's add a couple buttons, because a lot of times in Jumbotrons, you do have buttons. You don't have to, but I'm going to put in a couple of them. And the good news is, when I do the first one, for the second button, all I'll have to come in here and change. The only thing that I will have to change is the URL that the button goes to, the href. The class on this, you always have to say BTN at a minimum, all right? And I'm going to put a little coloring in here, so I'm going to say button primary, which is going to make the button blue. And I'm going to put a role in here, and this is strongly suggested, all right, that you put role equal button anytime you're using a hyperlink as a button. Again, done for screen readers. And finally, target equals _new. So we open it up in a new window. And we'll say here bootstrap 3 and end our A tag. So let's see if that worked. If it did, we're going to have a button down here. Bootstrap 3. And when I click it, what should happen is it should open up the Bootstrap 3 main page right there. And there it is. All right, that's good. But I'm going to grab this entire thing here that we've just done, and I'm going to copy it to the clipboard and paste it in. And the only thing I want to change in here is from Bootstrap 3 to Bootstrap 4, and I want to change this to v4-alpha.getbootstrap.com. And instead of it being a primary button, we'll make it a success button. All right. We now have two buttons in here. So this is our Jumbotron. If I click this button, I go to the version 3 of Bootstrap. If I click this button, oh, site can't be reached. So let's double check that. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. That's HTTPS. It's a secure site. So let's go back. And let's go back here to part 5. Refresh and see if this brings us to it. No, it still can't be reached. I think we don't need the www in either one of these. www dot. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get rid of that. Let's see if that fixes it. All right. Part 3, we're still there. Good. Part 4, there it is. So this, believe it or not, I'm finished. Okay? The only other thing that I did want to mention to you is, again, you saw this already. Oops, I wanted to keep that, but that's fine. So where we progressed to, we started by grabbing the Bootstrap template, which just added our Hello World. From there, we went and we added our nav bar. We gave it a brand, we gave it an active class, okay? From there, we added a footer. And all we put in the footer was our name, incorporated, and an HTML entity, which was for the copyright symbol and the year. Then we went and added some social media icons. And we actually linked them to Rankin's pages. And in here, we added our Jumbotron. Okay? So that's it for part 5. As I always do, I'm going to come back and in fact, I'll close this and I'll close this, and I'm going to come in and grab everything that was in my part 5 over to part 6, paste it in, open up my index file, change that to part 06. So now when I run this, I now have part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in here. All right? So when I come in here, I guess there's one other thing that we could have done here. Okay? And we'll do that in the next one. Okay? So we're going to come back, and in part 6, what are we adding here? We're going to add some text underneath right in here. All right? We'll add some different stuff. So I'll be back with that very shortly.